Hey everyone, this is Steve from GamersNexus.net, and I am kind of sick right now, so you're going to have to deal with my voice as it were. We are reviewing Plantronics' new GameCom 788 headset today. This is a refresher on their 780 headset, which I've been recommending for a couple years now, and not much has changed, which is really, that's okay. It doesn't have to change if it works. And the 780 I've been recommending as one of the best value headsets in the $60 range for the last few years. You can almost always find it $50 to $80, tends to be lower. And the 788 and 780 have identical specifications beyond a few things, and those few things include the colors, which don't really impact performance too much. So colors have changed a little bit. It's using more orange on the 788, whereas the 780 was a bit more of a dark red. They changed the driver support, so the 788 introduced Windows 8 and 8.1 driver support officially. This was adopted by all other modern Plantronics products as well, so the 780 should also be compatible with Windows 8 at this point and 8.1. And that's all that's changed. So if you already have a 780 and it works well, I would say just before we even talk about audio quality, you don't need to get the 788. If you don't yet have the 780 and you need a headset of some kind, my recommendation going forward is going to shift to the 788 as it is the refresher. And let's run through the audio specs really quickly. The 780 and 788 ship with a 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz speaker driver frequency response, which is pretty standard really, and the driver size is 40 millimeters. Again, not too off the path. That's fairly standard. A couple higher end headsets will do 50 millimeters though. The microphone frequency response is 100 hertz to 8 kilohertz, not 800 kilohertz. That would be like Husky StarCraft levels of high voice. 100 hertz to 8 kilohertz on the mic, 6.5 feet on the cable length. Uses USB, and of course does not use a sound card as a result. It has its own processing going on and is compatible with Windows and Mac. It's got a 1-year service warranty. Pretty standard stuff really. There are a couple buttons on the earpiece. You can control the mic mute and unmute, the volume, and then you can also press a button that enables Dolby digital headphone technologies. And the drivers themselves, there are only 2 drivers, and then they simulate 7.1 channels using digital means, which is pretty standard these days in headsets. So it's not true quote-unquote 7.1 audio, but it's pretty damn close in games that support it. The Dolby technology that I mentioned can actually, it does a few things. So what it really tries to do is make the sound more rich, and it does that by sort of surrounding your head in audio. It almost feels like sound is coming from all sides rather than just the earphones, which is sort of an interesting experience. It kind of resembles an auditorium in that way, but there are a couple downsides to this, and there are a few upsides as well. It just kind of depends on the user. The downsides, you lose a lot of the highs. In music, I found that cymbals were kind of lost, the higher cymbals. Alexis on Fire uses a lot of these in their music. You kind of lose some of that. And vocals, if there's any like post-hardcore screaming type of stuff, you're going to lose some of the higher grittiness, and it's kind of brought down a level in terms of tone, and that's just because of how the Dolby technology is making everything sound like it resonates more within the headphones rather than just hit your ear directly. So again, sort of an idiosyncratic thing, but it can sound cool for explosions and big boomy bassy things. I like that a lot. Unfortunately, it's really not usable at all for competitive gaming that makes use of directional audio. In Counter-Strike Go, it's going to get you murdered if you use that Dolby sound, but that's okay because you can disable it. And the reason it'll get you murdered is because it actually will take the sound and sort of equalize the channels. So if you've got sound that's supposed to only come in through the right channel, or the right ear, the right ear, having this technology enabled will send it to both ears, and then you don't know if the guy is on your right or your left or above you or whatever. If you disable it, the headset does use, as I said, 7.1 digital simulation of surround, so you can actually pinpoint sort of left, right, up, down, diagonally, up, down, back, forward. It's very cool. It works better in games like Battlefield that fully support this type of audio. A lot of games don't do more than 5.1 very well, Counter-Strike included. But if you're playing something like Battlefield, it's great for that. If you're playing something like Skyrim, you can get kind of a more immersive experience in this regard, especially if you do want to try dabbling with Dolby technology, because Skyrim isn't really as dependent upon directional audio. So that's sort of how I feel about the headset. It's fairly comfortable. It is very tight when you first get it, but that just means that it's going to loosen up as you use it. Give it about a week. I found that's all it took for mine to loosen up and no longer apply pressure anywhere. The earphones are square and don't touch my ears almost at all. And that's a good thing because there's no awkward pressure or anything like that going on while you're using it. So everything fits pretty well. It's fairly comfortable, produces an immersive experience, and has good directional audio. I would recommend playing around with Dolby Surround, seeing what you think of it. My personal choice is to leave it disabled because I don't like it, but it's up to you. So that's the Plantronics GameCom 780. Hit the link in the description below for a far more in-depth review. This kind of gives you a quick overview of everything. You may want to read the review if you're considering a purchase, and of course I have links to the product on that page as well. And that is all for now. I will see you all next time. Peace.